Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. My name is Nelly Zayed. I'm with the Newton Education Services, and I want to assure you that we can see you. We know you're here. I know you don't have access to your cameras and your mics, but if you do have any questions as we go through the session, please type them in the Q&A panel. You'll find it either at the bottom or at the top of your screen. And I think during the session, we will answer all your questions, but in case we don't, Nadine, my colleague, will be answering either in the Q&A panel or we will answer live during the session. We will also be putting information in the chat panel with all the links, all the contact information that you need, so you can copy and paste it later. All right. So before we start, I'm just gonna show you what we have planned for you tonight. We have a number of panelists here with me, and I'm gonna start by introducing them. We've got Marwa Sweden, who's the Graduate Programs Director at the Unsi Sawira School of Business, the American University in Cairo. Marwa is gonna give us an overview of the Executive MBA program, and then we're gonna we're gonna be witness to a conversation with all of our other panelists, Dr. Ayman Ismail, who's Associate Professor, and Abdul Latif Jamil, Endowed Chair of Entrepreneurship, also at the Unsi Sawira School of Business, the American University in Cairo. Ms. Hala Al-Manqabadi, who's Strategic Market Management Manager at Allianz, and Mr. Ihab Abdel Rasool, who's the founder and manager at Prodal. Like I said, at the end, there's a chance for you to get more of your questions answered. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Marwa.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure really to have you all. It's nice to have this kind of conversation with you. So let's start regarding the program. ممكن معلش نيلي slide 4. Yes, thank you. I really want our first to welcome you to our presentation on the Executive MBA program. I want to give you a brief on the American University in Cairo. Actually, our university stands as a leading English language institution renowned for its commitment to academic excellence and cultural diversity and accredited by Middle States Commission on Higher Education in the United States. Our university offers exceptional liberal arts and professional education within a vibrant cross-cultural environment. This unique setting fosters critical thinking, creativity, collaboration among students from diverse backgrounds. Next slide. Okay, so this slide, it's actually about the Unsi Sawira School of Business. Yes, so as you can see, we have 6 graduate program in Unsi Sawira School of Business, the MBA program, the Executive MBA program, the MSF and 2 economics program, and the SEMS program, which is the Masters of International Management. We have 6 undergraduate programs, and we have more than 60 plus executive education programs like diplomas, certificates, and so on. Okay. As for the accreditation, the next slide, please. AUC School of Business proudly holds the prestigious Triple Crown accreditation. ممكن to shift السلايد اللي بعديها. Yes, thank you. It's a mark of excellence. دايما شايفين we have Triple Crown accreditation. The ACSB, this is an American entity. We have the EMBA, which is concerned only with the MBA programs around the world, and the EQUIS. So as you can see, the School of Business proudly holds the prestigious Triple Crown accreditation. It's a mark of excellence. Each of these accreditation reflects our commitment to delivering a high-quality education that meets rigorous international standards. As you can see, these are the rankings. The AUC School of Business is consistency. Unsi Sawira is consistently recognized as a leader in business, reflected in our impressive the top schools in the Middle East and North Africa region, in publications and organizations. So as you see the top, the university ranking US and Financial Times and MA. Okay, moving forward. So the next slide, please. So moving forward on program, and it's around
Marwa, I think we're
yes, I'm back.
We're not hearing stuff.
I'm back.
Is it just me?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. Okay.
Yes.
So concerning the program structure, sorry for that, because I have a connection, an issue with my mobile phone, with the Zoom, with the, yani, I'm not that tech savvy. So hopefully that you can bear me the 10 minutes presentation. So program structure, it consists of 23 modules, 5 sections. The classes are over the weekend only. So for example, I would say that you would come in February, for example, for only 1 weekend out of the 4 weekends of the month. You come only for 1 weekend, which is Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays for full day. You will start at 9 and then you'll be done by 6 p.m. almost. We have 2 international weeks where we travel abroad to an international university, prestigious university. We'll talk about this later on. We don't have any electives. It's a core courses. It's a step program, and we don't have a thesis track. Yes. The next slide, please. So about the EMBA program, the program is designed specifically for experienced executives who are managing demanding schedules. That's why it's only once per month over the period of 20 months. So concerning the faculty, we always use our faculty who have this kind of practical experience, who are industry experts, who bring wealth of practical experience to the classroom. This to ensure the knowledge you gain is not only theoretical, through real-world applications. So you will learn from professors who have held leadership positions in top companies, providing insights that are immediately relevant to our professional context. The international faculty from top university, we usually have like 50% professors who teaches in the Executive MBA program are from international business universities, like Riyadh, Paris, Imperial College, Nova Business School, Stellenbosch in South Africa. This also give you this kind of 360 degree view of the content of the program and the experiences. Moving forward, so this is in a nutshell. Yes, just hold on. Concerning the networking opportunities, the program is this is one of the things that we are extremely proud of, is the networking that the students usually, that we usually offer our students. So it's one of the most valuable aspects of the Executive MBA is to network with the peers. You will engage with fellow executives and industry leaders, creating connections that can lead to new collaborations and opportunities. Moving to the next part, which is the practical learning methods. It's not about, having like slides and professor teaching you what's in the slides. No, it's more than this. It's about sharing experience. It's about group work. It's about simulations, projects, case studies. These hands-on learning experiences allow you to tackle actual business problems that develop critical thinking skills and apply concepts directly to your organization. The executive coaching, this is one of the things that we have recently introduced in the program, which is how to support you professionally in the soft skill part. This one-to-one guidance helps you to identify your strengths and areas for improvement, empowering you to enhance your leadership skills and navigate your career path more effectively. Okay, So as you can see, the structure of the program, the 5 sections of the program, it's tackling every aspect in the business that you can think of. The first part is the general management that you can see. It has data-driven decision making. It has economics. It has strategic change. The section 2 has financial management. It has strategy, marketing. So it has a different disciplines. Moving to the next slide, please. As you can see, for the section 3, managerial global leadership, effective leadership, entrepreneurship, you'll have a module on doing business in Africa, where we receive faculty from Stellenbosch teaching us about Africa and how to enter the African market as well. Then section 4 is corporate governance, legal environment, and business challenges. And then we end up with section 5, which is integrating project, which this program actually, it consolidates the 22 modules that has been taught earlier to consolidate everything. So it's kind of a consulting project. I'll leave Dr. Ayman later on to talk about it in details. Then, as you can see, these are sample actually of the international universities that we usually travel to. We went already to Kellogg before for a couple of years. We went to CIBS, it's in Shanghai, AMS, Antwerp Management School in Belgium, MIT, the famous MIT school where when we have content about supply chain and to further our knowledge in this area. Moving forward, okay, so this slide, I think it encapsulates the essence of the program. The AUC School of Business stands out among global programs for its affordability and optimal duration, making it an attractive option for professionals seeking a highly quality executive MBA experience without the financial strain often associated with similar programs. If you can see that the second part of the slide, our school combines affordability with top-tier universities, our accreditation ensuring that students receive a world-class education recognized by leading accrediting bodies. This unique combination allows you to invest in your future while gaining the credentials that employers value worldwide. So as you can see, this slide actually, it encapsulates everything about our edges, our competitive edge that we do have in the market, in the Egyptian market, and actually in the MENA region, I would say as well. So this slide, it's I just put the MBA and the executive MBA together in a comparison just to show you what's the difference, because this is one of the most asked questions concerning the EMBA and the MBA. What's the difference? So if we talked about the structure, the executive MBA, it's a modular format where the students come only for one weekend during a whole month. For the MBA, it's regular classes from 6 to 9. If you take, for example, 2 classes per semester, then you'll have to come twice per week for a whole semester. If you go for the duration, the executive MBA, it's 20 months, non-stop. Ramadan is off. This is the only month that it's off, 2 years, semester-based. The program type, both of them are academic. Both of them they don't have the thesis line, but both of them have the capstone and the consultancy project at the end. The courses for the executive MBA 23, for the MBA is 12. Average years of experience, this is where it's interesting, and this is where the difference from the two programs exists. The average years of experience in the executive MBA, it's around 15 to 19 years of experience, while the MBA, it's around 3 to 5. The average age, 38, 40. We have definitely do have students who are, for example, 30 years old, family business, but then we have also 40 and we have 50s. For the MBA, it's around 25 years old. The next slide, please. Yes. The student body, the executive MBA, it's a C-suite level, top management, board members, family business owners, while the MBA entry level, aspiring young individuals, career shifters. Faculty, 50% international faculty, 50% AUC and non-AUC faculty. For the MBA, it's AUC and AUC faculty. For the executive MBA, we have like 2 to 3 international living weeks, while in the MBA, it's optional. You have this option in the whole university if you want to travel for a semester abroad, for a summer abroad, but this is purely optional. For the executive MBA, this is mandatory. The requirement, minimum 8 years of experience in the executive MBA versus 3 years of experience in the MBA program. Fees, 34K in the executive MBA and 25K for the MBA. Then I'm done with the slide. The program requirements. Minimum 8 years of experience, as I've already mentioned. You have to do the English proficiency test. It's either TOEFL or IELTS. Letter of commitment from your company with the authorization to undertake all elements of the program. GMAT is not required. The application deadline is October 1st. The program duration is 20 months. Already you've said this, بس يعني just to keep في الإعادة إفادة زي ما بيقولوا هقولها كذا مرة. الفيز 34K. Payment plan, we have a payment plan, either a relaxed one or the regular one. You can ask for the details and we can answer definitely on this part. You have the fellowship option, and this is very important because طبعا يعني who now would like to go into a program without having a fellowship or a financial aid to support. So we have like almost 70% of the students who apply for our fellowship, they usually get it. And it could go up to 20%. So that's in a nutshell the program. I think this is the end of the presentation. I'm not sure if we have other slides left. Yeah, I think the rest is pictures and photos of the students in their international live-in weeks, several cohorts traveling to several locations. As you can see, making memories, making friendships, making business deals, making lots and lots of connections. I think I'm good. I think I'm done. So I'm going to hand the presentation to Dr. Ayman and Hala and Ihab. Thank you so much. And I'm here if you need any questions. I'll be just behind the screen to answer any questions. Me and Nadine. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you so much, Marwa. I hope this was very useful. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're doing well and having a great evening. Let me... Okay. Actually, whoever is the administrator, if you can actually highlight the other picture for me. Okay, so I'm very happy to have this conversation with you today. I've been teaching at the Executive MBA program at AUC since its inception, and very happy to have with us today as well Hala and Ihab, and have a very interesting discussion on their experience, what the program is about, how does it work, and maybe answer any program that you have. So let's just start from the beginning. Let's start with Hala. Hala, tell us a little bit about your background. What are you doing and what have you been doing with your career? Just as a matter of setting up the context.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Ayman, and thank you, Marwa. I graduated from AUC with a major in finance and a minor in economics, and then I started working in the finance field, mainly on the investment side. I worked in the dealing room of several banks. And then during COVID, I started reflecting on my career, and I decided that I actually want to pursue the consultancy career. So I made a bit of a shift, and I started working in a German consultancy firm. And then I moved to my now employer, Allianz. I now head the strategic market management department, which is basically responsible for the market strategy of Allianz in Egypt.
Fantastic. Thank you, Hala. Ehab, if you can also give us a little bit of context about what you're doing and Prodal.
Sure. So after graduating from thank you, Marwa. Thank you, Ayman, and welcome for all the potential students. Hope we can help you with this small webinar. Basically, I graduated as a pharmacist in Lebanon, from Lebanon. And then 4 years down the career, I decided to do my own company. And this is where I established Prodal as a local distribution company, which later evolved into an agency and representation company, a factory, and a trading arm. So it's 3 companies into one. And I've been working on it for the past, since 2011, actually.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Ehab. So let me also give you a little bit of context about myself. So my name is Ayman Ismail. I'm an associate professor of entrepreneurship at AUC. I've been at AUC for a very long time. I started as an undergrad and graduate student a long time ago. I did my undergraduate in engineering and then got my MBA at AUC. And then I moved to the US for about 15 years. During that time, I got a master's and a PhD from MIT. My PhD is in economic development. I looked at that point, my research was on venture capital and private equity in the MENA region. I worked in consulting. I worked in McKinsey in New York for 5 years. That was kind of my first serious professional experience. Worked a lot on the intersection of business and technology. After that, I started my own consulting company there and stayed until I returned to Egypt in 2011. Since 2011, I've been at AUC at the Department of Management, School of Business, and my area of passion and work has been entrepreneurship. So I've been teaching entrepreneurship courses at AUC for the past 15 years, including our Executive MBA entrepreneurship course, and I'll tell you a little bit about it as we speak. And I also teach the graduation capstone and the Executive MBA, which is something that builds on the consulting experience and methodology, and that's probably what Hala and Ehab and I are going to talk a lot about. So let's start from the beginning. Ehab, what got you to this MBA? Why did you decide to do this graduate program? Why this specific program? Where were you at? What was your mindset when you started?
Wow. Okay. Okay. So initially, as I said, I graduated as from the pharmacy, from the School of Pharmacy, and I wanted to have an experience about business and learning the other side. And leading a business, being an entrepreneur, requires a lot of juggling and a lot of things. So I had to get my skills up on that sense. So actually, after I graduated, by a short while, I joined an MBA program, but I didn't find it enriching as I wanted to be. So I dropped out of that program. And then a few years fast forward a few years, a good amount of years later, and after acquiring a lot of experience, I was considering a executive MBA education. I was actually choosing between INSEAD and IE, and then a friend of mine said, "You have the right thing for you would be to go to AUC and do the executive MBA program there." And I'm very happy that I've done that. And I was lacking the networking with the colleagues, and I lacked the local network from us and knowing people. And so I joined the AUC, and this is why I did it. I wanted to be like a crown jewel of all my experience to understand what I've been doing and decision-making on an intuitive basis, to put in a structured and an academically proper way, and to understand the methodology and the structure behind.
That's super interesting. Hala, what's your story? What was your motivation?
So for me, when I moved into strategy, I had worked for around 2 years before I started thinking about doing the executive MBA. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to move forward in my career, but coming from a pure finance background and also working in a very finance-driven industry, I had to have a more holistic view, because in strategy you need to understand all of the stakeholders' concerns, how they're thinking, and all of that. So I needed something that would give me that. So this is one part of my story. The other part is I needed it to be physical. I didn't want to do an online executive MBA, although some people would prefer that. But for me, honestly, the networking was one of the biggest motives to join the executive MBA. And I graduated from AC, and I saw how well organized and well established they are. So honestly, I didn't look into other options.
Actually, both of you mentioned this networking part, and I think a lot of people hear the word networking but not always know what exactly does it mean. So Hala, what does networking mean? Who were you talking to? What specific? How does it work? What's the value of that experience?
Sure. So for me, meeting people from other industries, this is part of networking, meeting people at different career levels. So whether mid-managerial, managerial, or top management. But also meeting with the professors. This was something that was interesting for me, because in the undergraduate world, the professor is more academic, but then when it comes to the executive MBA, the professors that taught us had a lot of practical experience, so that gave us a lot of insights. So basically, this is what for me networking meant.
Ihab?
Well, I have to build on what Khala said, because she crystallized it in a very nice way. But it's throwing the idea and then having a 360 view on it from colleagues. So as Hala said, seeing across industries and across different views of people, this was very important. As I said, I was brought up barra Masr. I missed on that. And I wanted so much to have this experience, and I wanted to have it in a context which is executable. What I mean by executable is people coming from the same culture, knowing the same problems. I don't have to explain things in France or in Spain, how things are happening in Egypt, something that I cannot even start to comprehend how I'm going to be explaining that to them. But to have people of the same context to explain what the problems are we facing, and having real live view and angles on how different people would approach the different things at the level of an executive MBA that would have passed the filter necessary to be colleagues.
And have you used that network after graduation?
Oh, yes. I used it and abused it.
How so?
Starting with Hala, by the way. So how so? So I think I was very lucky and blessed to have a cohort of a good melange of executives, people like Hera who are strong in finance, something which I'm not strong is. I reached out to her. We had a few sessions where we discussed my project, how to move, how to invest. Other people who have done things and opened up my eyes to investment possibilities and financing possibilities to my company, and how I can do it and understand it. I've networked with professors, whether in the local cohort in the university, and reached out for support in even hiring into my own company. And I've reached out to also the professors that taught us in Kellogg's specifically. And I went ahead and did a supplementary course at the Antwerp School of Management School after we graduated, that I got to know during my stay there. So I've been all around.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And I think having this community is really great. And a very interesting part about this community, even though the numbers in the cohort are usually small, that you get very close to knowing each other, form a lot of friendships, a lot of really in-depth conversations, and then you have very diverse backgrounds. I mean, there are typically two profiles that probably both of you are. There is someone who's built a corporate career, and there's someone who started their own business or building on a family business, and they're running the business themselves. And I think both of them, they have kind of different mindsets, and having that intersection and sharing of experience is fantastic. You have different culture, you have different ideas coming in, and having those ideas actually kind of in meeting in those conversations and in the classroom has been, for me personally, very educational. Hala, what about yourself? What are your thoughts about using that network, especially after graduation?
Yes, so for me, honestly, I haven't used it that much because I've been on maternity, so so I wasn't able to make use of it completely. But I have been in touch with several of the colleagues, and I'm basically benefiting from the industries they're working in, and the work they're doing right now, the projects they're working on. And honestly, we sometimes even talk about the projects themselves, go through the syllabus again and the content, and see how they can apply whatever we took in class to their projects. So this is what I've basically done the past few months.
Fantastic. Let me jump to the capstone project, because this is probably the part that I spend most of the time in the Executive MBA. We'll talk a bit about the entrepreneurship. Would love to get your thoughts on it. But for the capstone project, just by way of context, at the end, towards the end of the Executive MBA, and for a duration of about 6 months, we work on a project, and I'll tell you about the nature of the project, in teams for probably around 6 months. So at the beginning, we have a kickoff and project conception and selection. And then we have different milestones throughout. And then at the end, we have kind of a 3-4 days of polishing the presentation and the content, and then final presentation to the client. The project is a real life consulting project for an actual client. And the client is usually the company where one of the candidates in the Executive MBA either own it or work on it, in it. So it gives a real context. So it's a real life problem with a real life client, with a team of your colleagues, and working for an extended duration. So that's basically the design. And the objective is, this is kind of what brings everything together. So it integrates the different disciplines. It's multidisciplinary by nature. It's a very challenging process, and maybe you'll tell us about that, your experience with that. It's experiential, it's team-based. So it's really an interesting process, and it comes in the last 1/3 of the program. So maybe, Ehab, you had dual hats. So you were actually, like everybody, part of a team working on a project, but you're also the client for one project. So tell us a little bit as your experience as working in that project, and then we'll go to Hal, and then we'll get back to you for being a client. What does that mean?
Yes, I was. I wore both hats, and it was grinding. No, I got to see things from both angles. Okay, and it was really nice. But it was very, very enriching and very challenging to in a positive way. Where the team working on my project, Ella was one of the team doing that. They used to grill me for not only information but challenging me on things that I said, أنا أعرفها كده. Yes, I just know it. Yes, no. How do you know? Where do you know? How did you get it from? Challenge this number. Challenge that number. So things that even from your skill set or things that you take for granted are now under questioning and grilling, which granulates the thought process. But you need to have to think, reflect, and understand truly, do you really know it, or do you think you know it? But this was being a client. And at the end, it was very interesting because it is a real project, and it's a project that we are in the final phases of maybe doing and establishing. So, and I'm in the food processing business. Although it was very linked to agriculture, very linked to agri-industry. So it was very, very interesting from that. Now, opposite to that, yes, I was a consultant, and this also gave us a taste of what a consultancy do and what does consultancy firm think and the thought process. So it was enriching from the opposite direction. Is if I'm a consultant, what should I do? What should I ask? How should I look? What am I looking for? What are the questions? What are the real questions? My client is coming with a question, but is it really the question or the problem that he has? Or does he have a problem that he is not aware of? And this puts a whole different layer. So it's not a textbook, take this 1 + 1 = 2 solution. You have to invent and think and really go through a structured way of building up the thought process into serving your client to best serve him. So it's not about getting a right or wrong answer. It's about best serving your client. Even if that doesn't mean replying to direct answer that he thinks that's what he's looking for.
I think this is fantastic. And a big part of the experience is actually the iterative part, because you go and you do a little bit of work and you think you've got the answer, and then you come back and then you question, and then you dig a lot deeper, and then you dig a lot deeper. And by the end, you realize that you've actually really, really, really gone deep in that industry, in that specific company, in that context, and that most answers, the initial answers, are very superficial for whatever problem we look at. And when you spend the time and the depth, you end up in very different places with very different quality of thinking, and probably, hopefully, leads you to better decisions and better thought process. Ella, what were your thoughts?
Yes. So exactly what you mentioned, I was going to talk about the idea of going back and forth, and the coaching that happened in the middle. I think this gave us all different views of how we solve problems in general. But also one of the things that we liked was the actual the practicality of the project and the access to information and data. So even if the company doesn't have enough information and data, you have the exactly the same data and information they have. So it's very practical, it's very realistic. They don't give you Excel sheets of data that do not exist. It's actual data and actual information. And if there's a missing information, you also are missing this information. This is one thing. Another thing was that we got to meet the business partners, and we also met a few of the employees. So this gave us a lot of insight into how the business partners think about the relationship, how they think about the supply chain, the business itself, as well as how the business thinks about the partners. So we would look at it from both sides, and the duration of the project gave us the opportunity to actually dig deep into the industry. Like you said, we were talking agriculture by the end of the project, and we really did have enough knowledge that would lead us to answer the question as practical as we could.
And I think this is very interesting, Hela, because just to give everybody a context about the nature of the projects, most of the projects are in one of two categories. There might be others, but there is a turnaround. So a company that wants to change direction, and that's usually because of a change in the environment, because of something that's happening, maybe a dollar crisis, maybe a change in the industry, a new entrant. So the company is looking for a turnaround story, change in direction, change in strategy. When you start doing that, you start thinking about my context, my environment, my strategy. But then you get deeper into the numbers, the financials, the people, the operations, the management, the governance, and you have to look at all of those dimensions together. So it's not just that I'm looking at one single part, I do my financial model or my marketing plan, and I'm done. It's literally thinking from a CEO mentality, because the CEO is your client and is sitting next to you, by the way, so there is no escape, but working on that. And there's another group of projects which is about a business expansion, new growth opportunity, entering a new market. We've had companies looking to enter Kenya, Ghana, Saudi, Emirates, where else? Europe, South Africa. All of these were actually different projects for companies. Some of them were large corporates, banks, large companies, and some of them were actually family-owned businesses looking to expand. And again, you've got the executive with you who's working, or the owner of the company who's working on that. So it brings a very interesting and different dimension and pulls together a lot of the stuff that has happened, including the soft part, the team dynamics and the negotiation and managing conflict and managing different personalities and all of that. Let me actually ask you about that. How was the experience in actually doing the project itself? Whether from a methodology perspective, the process, or working with the team, or working with the clients. Whoever wants to jump in. Hella smiling. So let's go with Hella.
I was pointing at him. So in terms of structure, honestly, it was good because we had enough time. We had enough liberty to go ahead and just come back and have some sessions or coaching, and then go back again and even rethink the whole presentation or the whole solution. So structure was good. Teamwork was very challenging. So for us, for example, our team, we all were very strong-willed. So it was very difficult to navigate. Even the
That's
client was
very,
laughing.
very nicely said.
Diplomatically said.
Very diplomatically
I'm part
said.
of the team, so I. So yes, so we were all strong-willed and of strong characters. So it was very difficult to get to something. But also honestly, yani the soft skills courses helped a lot. And at some point, we even used one of the frameworks that we learned about in leadership to be able to work better together. So that was part of the team dynamics. Other than that, the client was yes, the client was very helpful. I think the conversation with the client was very insightful. The coaching that happened in the middle was also very insightful. So for me, structure was okay. Team, you can't really choose your colleagues also, so you need to learn how to deal with other personalities. So yes.
That's fantastic. Ihab, any reflections?
One that comes to mind is that every time we felt we're strong about something and we've got the ground, we got it and we understood it very well, we would go to the coaching session, and then there would be a twist, or there would be a question that would say, okay, we haven't approached that angle or this, so let's dig into another layer and understand. And that was very, when you reflect on it, it was very important, because sometimes the obvious is not really the right thing, and it's not really the obvious that you're after. It's what's beyond that you're after. So this was also important. The other thing with the team dynamics is that even in the presentation, we knew some were good at presenting some things, other were good at the back end of stage, and so this also was important to reach. And it's very different to have this kind of negotiation among each other at this executive level.
Yeah, and I think probably the most exciting part about this program is the quality of the people you have in your teams and in the classroom with you. You get people who are business owners, who are top executives, who are strong-willed, as Hala said, who are very smart, but they come from different backgrounds, different walks of life. And being able to work and collaborate and really create a good team with that level is something that most people don't feel and don't get the opportunity to do in their lives, because it's not typical. Let me jump to another part, which is actually coming in one of the questions, and it was actually my next point. A big part of this program is the international component, International Living Weeks. So what was your experience like? Where did you go? What was your experience like? I don't know, in your cohort, I went with the first cohort to Hong Kong, but I don't know, where did you guys go and how was that like? Ihab, you want to jump in?
Yeah, sure. So I think we were one of the lucky cohorts to have been going to three trips abroad instead of the standard two, and it's quite different. You know, it gets.
Where did you go?
So we went to Kellogg's, we went to Siebes, and we went to AMS, to Belgium. So
Okay.
Belgium, China, and the US. And it's very interesting to see how not only the culture, we all travel around, we all go around, but to see it from the academic side or from the executive MBA side is also a different view. You go in expecting one thing, and then when you go there, some things are disappointing and some things are no, they're good. So you're positively surprised. So you have the full spectrum of both, but it also shows you a different way of how they approach things and points and discussions. What they think is like very superficial. Actually, at the end, there's a twist. So we have a whole week in the US, and then the last 2 days or 1 day or something, you have one professor that really makes it worthwhile the entire trip. And it shows you a different way of how they approach different problems and how they address them and how they solve them and how they think about them. So it's also very enriching when it comes to it's the structure. It's also very nice to see the culture. I mean, sometimes that's something I did, but not all my teammates have done it. I've taken a week after our class and I backpacked around China. Or can it? Yani. It was positive and challenging, but it also showed a different aspect of the country. So we also have this option. Since I'm there, why not see more of it? And at in-depth level, yeah.
That's fantastic. Hala.
Yes, so for me, other than the academic part, I think for me, the part of meeting the other colleagues. So we've done a few of the classes with other EMBA students from other universities. So this was also very enriching. We got to meet people from different industries, different companies. Even if you work in a multinational, still meeting someone in this context gives you a push to a different conversation, other than when you meet someone on a very official meeting, or when you also meet your colleagues abroad. So this was honestly the thing I liked the most when traveling abroad.
This is fantastic. I know that some people are raising their hands to ask questions. I cannot open the conversation given this setup, but if you can write them in the Q&A part, and I will make sure we respond to them. And I think some of the questions are starting to flow, so happy to take more of those. I think the international part, Kellogg's, for those who don't know, is the top business school in marketing in the US and globally. Siebes is one of the top business schools in China, and it's actually the China-Europe International Business School. So it's based on the European partnership, and it's part of China actually connecting with the rest of the world. And AMS is one of the top European parts. So we've selected actually really amazing schools that give both a diverse cultural context and at the same time a really good quality academic experience and intellectual experience and professional exposure for all of you. And I would definitely, I mean, I'm one of the people who've been insisting to have China East connections, because that's a huge growing area, and it's part of learning about the world is spending time in China. It's unbelievable what's happening there. And even going there for a few days will change your mindset about what's happening globally and to see it and understanding. Let me jump to probably our last area of discussion, and then after that, we'll take more questions. You both are working probably 20 hours a day and running a professional career or running a company. And at the same time, this is a very demanding program. It is structured to fit with your lifestyle, but still it's demanding. So what are your thoughts about the balancing the life, work, study, travel? How do you manage that? Anna, do you want to kick off?
Sure. Honestly, the way the program is structured was perfect. really you only need to spend 3 full days. This is the actual academic intake, and then after that, whether the assignments or whatever work is required, it's not academic. It's not completely academic, just to be just to be clear. It's actually very practical, so you get to enjoy it. So you can do it after work, on weekends, whatever it is, and you actually enjoy the assignment. So this is one thing that I wanted to shed light on, is that the work life balance or work study life balance becomes a bit challenging, but you enjoy it. So you want to go to class, you want to do the assignments, you want to work together with the team, and also the teams change, so you get to meet people along every assignment or every course. So for me, it was okay to balance. I honestly didn't feel like the workload is a lot. I felt it was very balanced. I felt like I was learning a lot, but at the same time, I still have my other days to myself, and to be able to also give the work I need. So for me, it was very balanced.
That's fantastic. Ihab.
I have to say that from the beginning, it's important to have it very well structured. So you know the dates, which dates are your classes up until the end of the program. So if you need to do, if you have fairs or meetings abroad or travel assignments, you can plan this very well ahead. So no surprises whatsoever. But you need to make sure that you're committed to this. It's not a walk in the park. It's not something. It's not a side gig that you're doing on the side. It's a serious thing. But as said, you enjoy it. At the beginning, it's hard to go into this discipline, especially if you're used to practicality a lot. As you go back to one class a month, which is also very well structured, you need to commit to that. But the nice thing is, after every class, you have the opportunity to try it out in real life in your own work. So you can get to reflect, you can get to do tests and trials. Even in class, you get some ideas. It's like, okay, this assignment, I want to try it and practically on the team. I want to try it in the company. How will it look? This for me was what made it much easier and much more worth it.
I think this is fantastic, Ihab, and I think it's important to maybe dig a little bit deeper on the program structure. Marwa mentioned it at the beginning, but when you go to university, most of the time you're spreading out the course over a semester or a year, and you take multiple courses, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on the program at the same time, and they're spread out slowly. This program is a bit different. This program is you pick one single topic, and you take a weekend and you dig very deep with a lot of intensity into that topic. So you're not thinking about anything else. This weekend is corporate finance. The next one is entrepreneurship. The one after is about negotiations. The one after is marketing, and so on. So you have an opportunity to actually build on the thoughts and go much deeper, a lot compared to spreading it out. You're spending the 3 days with one single faculty, the whole team, the whole cohort together. So it's a very different style of learning. And I think probably at the beginning, some people find it unusual, but very quickly you get used to it. You do a little bit of prep, and then you walk in, you've got the very intense experience, and then you walk out, you do a little bit of reflection, maybe one assignment, but not a lot of coursework after that. It leaves you space to work and continue your life. So it's a different style. It's common in Executive MBA, and it's probably one of the differentiators between this program and the MBA, which is your traditional academic learning, semester style, multiple courses in parallel. I personally enjoy that a lot. It's tough actually to spend the 3 days, whether from the learning side or even from the teaching side. It's physically an exhausting experience, but at the same time, it's extremely, extremely intellectually kind of growing and stimulating experience. Okay. I don't know if we have any more questions. If anybody has questions, you can jump into raising their hands, or sorry, not raising the hands, adding them in the Q&A, and we can answer them. And we probably have a few more minutes. So unless we get some questions, I'll ask you about the entrepreneurship course, the entrepreneurship module, because that's probably mine and it's my favorite. Any thoughts or reflection on that part? Was any aha moments, insights that came out of it? Hala, since you're the corporate person.
ده لسه كنت هقول إيهاب بقى، ده هو الانتربرينور. يلا إيهاب.
Allah Ihab. Okay, we'll get back to Hala.
طيب. Of course, there were a lot. There were a lot of aha moments. There were a lot of interesting, and يعني, it's like shaking the water and also stirring things up all the time, questioning things, looking at things from a different perspective. Tick photos, snapshots from different things, and then having to decide very fast. Helping with the adaptability and flexibility, which are two skills that are much needed this era, and getting your hands wrapped around it very fast. But it gave tips and tricks how to be quick, efficient, and yalla, let's move. Things are moving, so decide, move, make mistakes, correct. Decide, move, make mistakes, correct, and so on and so forth. Yep. So this is also we're bred in a way where ما تغلطش, استنى, don't, خلي بالك, versus the entrepreneur where falling is celebrated much more than doing the right thing. So actually, I have it engraved: fall fast, fall cheap, fall often. So I have it engraved, and I've been working on that and trying to live on that. So the entrepreneurial also gives you a safe way where this is actually a science. This is actually structured. This is actually مش فهلوة. This is actually, there is a structured way to do it right. And this structured way includes failing. And failing is strongly embedded into it. So it kind of, it's not that I'm bad. It's not that I'm doing something wrong. It's that I'm in the process.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And I think getting this mindset is probably the most valuable thing out of that module. Hala, any thoughts?
Yes. So for me, from the practical side, it helped me a lot with frameworks and tools to use in my work. So I haven't done a consultancy or entrepreneurship course, so that was really missing. So when I took this course, there was a lot of aha moments, and also like structure moments. Like I would do that, but I don't know the framework. So now that you've put the framework and given me the tool, this helped a lot. This is one thing. The other thing was the case studies that we looked into. They were very insightful because your viewpoint was because you are inside the organization itself, whether as a board member, as an investor, or as a mentor. So the view that you gave us on the companies that we've looked into were very insightful. Honestly, were very beneficial. You answered a lot of questions that we had regarding entrepreneurship and the companies and all of that. And one other thing was that you put there were a lot of words, big words that we always hear that we didn't know what it meant, but maybe either ashamed to ask, or we think both both terms are the same. But the way you explained it made it made it make very much sense, and it was very structured. So so for me, it was very beneficial, honestly.
Thank you, Hannah. I think this is a very interesting part. Is entrepreneurship is a big adventure, and people think that doesn't mean that we have structure to it. It doesn't mean that it's solid, that is rigid, but there is actually a solid structure and a thought process, even if it includes moving forward 2 steps, making a mistake, failing something, returning, reflecting, and moving forward again. As long as you're learning and progressing, then something good is happening. Okay, let's get into, actually, we have a couple of questions. Let me check before we wrap up. Someone was asking about the 8 years of experience, and I think I'll leave that question to Marwa. And another person was happening, what actually happens in the 3 to 4 weeks between the classrooms? So, Hela, what happens, or what happens in those 3-4 weeks?
You live.
You live. That's good.
You
You have a
try.
life. Yes, you have a life. So this is
Like,
good.
yeah, you either work on whatever projects you have, or you take the time to reflect on what you learned and actually try to apply it at work, and then come back the next module and talk to your colleagues about what you've tried to do. And then that was basically it, yes.
Yeah. And just something to think about this program, especially if you wanted to put it in contrast to the MBA. And this is not an AUC thing. This is globally, whenever you look at MBA versus executive MBA or traditional masters in whatever field versus the executive MBA. Executive MBA is designed for people who have very demanding full-time jobs, but at the same time, they also want to learn and grow as leaders. So this is not designed for someone who's a recent graduate. It's not a good program for that. You're someone who's in a leadership role, I would say probably in a corporate director plus, and in a business owner or senior leader in a family business, could be a second generation family business owner who's involved, maybe running the business, maybe not running it yet, an entrepreneur, and so on. So someone who's really in a leadership position. And that's a very important part. Second, it's designed for people who want to have a much faster learning pace. So some people like to give me a little bit and let me reflect on it for a week, and then we meet the following class and we build on it. But some people at some point in their life or career, they don't have the patience or the luxury for that. It's like, I want to get the full story and I want to hear it now. And I have full dedication, but I cannot give you that dedication for a month because I don't have that. That's what happens in the 3 to 4 weeks between them. So I'm gonna come for 3 days, no phones. I know some people who actually live in Sheikh Zayed who stay in hotels close to campus, completely disconnect. We have some people who actually come from abroad. I know some people who are commuting from Saudi, Emirates, Qatar, which was very practical because you have a clear schedule. I come, I focus for 3 or 4 days, 100%, zoom in, including spending an early 7 o'clock breakfast with my team, looking at preparing for the day, and then after that, having dinner with my team also, reflecting on what happened, and then coming for the next day. Very intense experience. And then after that, you get back to your life, you reflect, you apply. There might be some small assignments, but not extensive. And then you're ready for the next journey. This is why if you look at the modules, you'll find that the Executive MBA has a lot more modules compared to the MBA courses. MBA courses are 12. The Executive MBA, I don't remember the exact number, but they were 20 something, 26 or 28. 23. And the reason is that the topics were divided into smaller modules that fit in a weekend rather than the longer extended courses. So it's a different structure for people in a different point in their life. Okay, so this is a very important part to keep in mind. Actually, let me build on that. And maybe that's kind of our last question until we get questions from, unless we get questions from the audience. Ehab, who's this program for and why? And I ask the same question to Hel. If you'd say, who would you, if you would advise a friend of yours and you would tell them this program is really, really for you, who and why?
It's for somebody who has his hands dirty. Okay, so get your hands dirty before going into the program. This program for me is a crown jewel for the practical experience. It's not somebody who just graduated trying to test. Get some practical experience in life. Get some, get kicked down. Get dirty in the work field or in the entrepreneurial field or in the family business, do mistakes, bleed, and then come and learn the discipline of it. It's not a spoon feeding, so you're not going to be spoon fed, and don't expect any spoon feeding. And come prepared. So come know what are you talking about. What are you going to be learning? It's not something that will take you in depth where you're going to have a math course or a calculus or a economics 101. It's going to touch base on top line things, and it's up to you to get it because we're going to be running fast. So if you cannot keep the pace, you're going to be dragged along. You're not going to be left behind, but you're going to be dragged along. And so in order to have your feet running as fast as the average of the entire cohort, you need to get to know yourself and get to know the things and get to know what you don't know more than what you know. So if you know that you don't know that topic or this, get acquainted with it and prepared for it, because this is one hell of a roller coaster, 20-month roller coaster. And the reward is when you finish. It's not during the roller coaster, but it's stepping down, looking at the roller coaster and saying, wow, I've been into that and I lived through it. But when you step out of it, given all the twists and turns, you step out of it much larger than when you stepped in. And you don't know actually in between, when did this happen? But it just happens. This is how you feel it in your body.
It happens in the graduation project.
Yes. Yeah, may I just add to this part? It's a very nice segue to add to Ihab's point, actually, that it's always extremely interesting for me as we see the applicants and the students at the start of the program, and can literally see the progress and the change and the impact of the program on them till they graduate in the end of the 20 month. It's usually an amazing journey, and we really appreciate this the most part, me as a staff, when I can see the change in the students, the way they think, the way they do presentation, the way they talk. I would say some students would not even approach the presentation area. They would stay as far as possible. But then at the end, you can see them, confident, standing, presenting in a very confident, loud voice. So it's always a blessing really to share with you this journey. It has been.
Yeah, and I think Marwa is probably your best friend during that journey. She's the one who's gonna keep you on your toes, keep you organized, keep you motivated, keep you showing up every day in the morning.
And well said.
Yes, absolutely well said. And be very happy for you when you graduate. So absolutely. Hela, I don't want to miss on that. Who's this program for and why?
So I fully agree with what Ihab said. For me, it's either for someone who's top management or mid-level manager in a corporate, but they would have to be really exposed to a lot of things. So they would have to be managing a team. Why? Not because of the requirements. I'm not here for the requirements, but for me, the courses, a lot of the courses, really the practicality of it, you will not be able to feel if you do not manage a team, if you have not dealt with different stakeholders, if you do not have enough autonomy in the organization. So this is something that's very important, because if you learn something and then you cannot apply it just because you do not have enough autonomy, then really you only learn a third of the actual learning. So this is one part. The other part is if it's if the person is a family business owner. So if the business is already running and they're second generation or third generation, and they need some insights into corporate governance or legalities, or even just the management of the business, or someone who's beginning their business, this is for me the perfect actually the perfect candidate, because they get to have knowledge and experience and network in all of the departments that they would need in their job, and then they would take it just like one step at a time. So the first module talks about HR. So it's basically how you start the business. You choose the people first. So you learn about how you choose the people, how you choose your partners, how you choose the employees. So for me, these are the three candidates that I would recommend the program for. One other thing is that I completely agree with Ihab in the preparation point. Although it's not very relevant to the caliber, but really, if you prepare well, you will learn a lot more than if you just come and ready and you're just ready to receive information. So if you prepare by either reading the module or reading about the content and setting expectations. Expectations are very important for either the faculty or the staff. And it's very important to communicate these expectations. If you don't communicate them, maybe they're met, maybe they're not. But if you communicate them in the beginning, they do really. I'm not just saying that because we're in a session, but really feedback is taken into consideration, and this was one of the things that mattered the most in the program.
Yeah, I mean, this is an advanced program at the end of the day, so there's a lot of customization from the professors to what the needs of the cohort, and the needs vary from one cohort to another. So this is very interesting. So different groups have different areas of interests, and people adjust to that very quickly. Just to give you a perspective on who that program is, and I love the way you, Helen, have described it. For me, people have 3 stages in their life and their career. First stage, you're at the early career, you're mostly managed by others. You're learning a lot. You're in a context that helps you get things done, but someone is managing that process. It might take 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years for some people, depending on the context. Second stage in your career, you are the one who's managing others and you're getting things done and at a larger scale. So I don't mean managing a team of 2 or 3, but you're really managing a serious part of the organization. You wake up in the morning and say, what am I going to do? And how am I going to do that? You're under a lot of pressure. You're not at the kind of entry level, and you're not at the C-level yet, but you're at that stage. And you're aspiring to the move to the third one. Third level is you're at the top of an organization. You're thinking about building a legacy. You're not thinking about the day-to-day. You're thinking about your vision and so on. This program for me is for people who are moving from the second level to the third level. So they're getting things done. Now they're thinking, I actually want to build a vision for my organization. Could be my department, my unit, my business unit, my startup, my SME, my corporate, and so on. So that is a change in mindset, not skill sets. You already have most of the skills you want. You've been in business for a good 15, 20 years. You're really superstar. Now you're thinking, how do I change my mindset so that I can I can lead a big organization, inspire people, set the vision, change direction, do all of these things. It's not about being an accountant, understanding accounting. It's about reading the financial statements and getting insights or reading risks that will help the organization move forward. So if you're in the first one moving to the second, do the regular MBA. If you're in the second stage moving to the third, come into that Executive MBA program. I think this will be probably a fantastic experience for you. Ihab, Hala, this has been a really interesting conversation. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insights. And thank you for being part of that program. I really enjoyed that experience. Thank you, Nelly and Marwa, for organizing this session. And for our participants, I hope to see you next semester or 2 in the entrepreneurship course. Yes, when you join that. So thank you, everybody. And we conclude this webinar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. Take care. Bye.